Welcome to EnglishPass Podcast, brought to you from our local studio in Toronto. I'm your host, Sophia, and today we're diving into an exciting topic: sport and exercise. Whether you're a beginner or intermediate learner, in this podcast, we're helping you level up your English listening and reading skills. And before we get started, let me tell you that the sponsor of this episode is TypeFit, keyboard typing practice and learning platform. Now, let's talk about the weather in Toronto on Sunday, January 25, 2026. It's currently -9 degrees Celsius, which is about 16 degrees Fahrenheit with heavy snow conditions. It's so cold and snowy today that even the snowmen are asking to come inside for a cup of hot cocoa. Today, we're exploring something really interesting: sport and exercise. This is a fantastic subject for English learners because it covers a lot of practical vocabulary and real-world situations. So let's dive right in. Physical activity is a fundamental part of being human, yet in our modern world, we often distinguish between two main types of movement: sport and exercise. While these words are frequently used as if they mean the same thing, they actually represent different ways of engaging the body. Exercise is generally defined as physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive with the primary goal of improving or maintaining physical fitness. When you go for a jog around the neighborhood or lift weights in a gym, you are exercising. Sport, on the other hand, involves a higher level of organization and competition. A sport is usually governed by a set of rules and often involves individuals or teams competing against one another. Think of a local basketball league or the Olympic Games. In sport, the goal is often to win or achieve a specific score, whereas in exercise, the goal is usually personal health and well-being. To understand why we value these activities so much today, we have to look back at history. For most of human existence, physical activity was a matter of survival. Our ancestors had to hunt, gather, and build, which meant their daily lives provided all the movement they needed. However, as societies became more advanced, especially after the Industrial Revolution, many people transitioned into a sedentary lifestyle. The word sedentary refers to a way of life that involves a lot of sitting and very little physical movement. Because our jobs and daily tasks no longer required us to be active, we had to invent exercise as a separate category of life to keep our bodies healthy. Around the same time, organized sports began to gain popularity as a way to build character, discipline, and community spirit. In ancient Greece, the original Olympic Games were not just about entertainment. They were a way to honor the gods and demonstrate the human pursuit of excellence, a concept they called arete. In the modern world, exercise is often categorized by how it affects the body. One of the most common terms you will hear is cardiovascular exercise. This refers to any activity that increases your heart rate and improves the health of your heart, lungs, and blood vessels. When you engage in cardiovascular activities, your body becomes more efficient at transporting oxygen to your muscles. This is closely related to your metabolism, which is the internal process by which your body converts the food you eat into energy. People with a high metabolism burn energy more quickly, which is why regular exercise is so important for weight management. Let us look at some real-world examples to see these concepts in action. A classic example of cardiovascular endurance and discipline is the marathon. A marathon is a long-distance race of exactly 26.2 miles, or 42.195 kilometers. The history of the marathon is quite fascinating, as it is based on the legend of a Greek messenger named Phidippides. According to the story, He ran from the battlefield of Marathon to Athens to deliver the news of a Greek victory, only to collapse and pass away after delivering his message. Today, millions of people run marathons not to deliver news, but to test their personal limits. Running a marathon requires months of preparation, teaching the runner how to pace themselves and manage their energy over several hours of constant movement. Another example that has become incredibly popular in recent years is high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. This type of exercise involves short bursts of very intense activity followed by brief periods of rest or lower-intensity movement. For example, a person might sprint for 30 seconds and then walk for 30 seconds, repeating this cycle for 20 minutes. The beauty of HIIT is its efficiency. It allows people with busy schedules to get a powerful workout in a short amount of time. It challenges the heart and muscles in a way that steady-state exercise, like a slow walk, does not. It is a perfect example of how modern science has changed the way we think about fitness. However, exercise is not just about moving fast or getting your heart racing. Flexibility and balance are equally important components of physical health. Consider the practice of yoga, which originated in ancient India thousands of years ago. Yoga is much more than just stretching. It is a system of physical postures, breathing techniques, and meditation. For many, yoga is a bridge between exercise and mental health. It requires immense coordination, which is the ability to use different parts of the body together smoothly and efficiently. Unlike a high-speed sport like soccer, yoga focuses on the internal sensation of movement and the alignment of the body. It teaches us that being strong is not just about muscle size, but also about the ability to control our movements with precision. Speaking of soccer, or football as it is known in most of the world, we find one of the greatest examples of sport as a cultural phenomenon. Soccer is often called the beautiful game because of its simplicity and the way it brings people together. Unlike a solo workout at the gym, soccer is a team sport that requires communication, strategy, and a shared goal. In a soccer match, players must navigate a complex environment, reacting to the movements of their teammates and their opponents simultaneously. This builds social bonds and teaches individuals how to work as part of a collective unit. Whether it is a professional match in a stadium filled with 80,000 fans or a group of children playing in a dusty field with a ball made of rags, the essence of the sport remains the same: competition, skill, and joy. While many people enjoy the social aspect of team sports, others prefer the quiet focus of individual pursuits like swimming. Swimming is an excellent example of low-impact exercise. Because the water supports the weight of the body, swimming puts very little stress on the joints, making it ideal for people of all ages or those recovering from injuries. It is a full-body workout that builds endurance, which is the ability to sustain a specific level of physical effort for a long period of time. Have you ever noticed how tired you feel after just a few laps in a pool? That is because moving through water requires much more effort than moving through air, forcing every muscle group to work in harmony. One common misconception in the world of fitness is the idea of no pain, no gain. Many people believe that if a workout does not leave them feeling exhausted or in pain, it was not effective. This is actually quite dangerous. While it is true that you must challenge your body to see improvement, there is a big difference between the healthy burn of a working muscle and the sharp pain of an injury. In fact, recovery is just as important as the exercise itself. When we lift weights or run long distances, we create tiny tears in our muscle fibers. It is during the rest periods that the body repairs these tears, making the muscles stronger than they were before. This process of muscle growth is known as hypertrophy. Without proper rest and nutrition, the body cannot heal, leading to a state of overtraining where performance actually declines. Another nuance to consider is the psychological side of sport and exercise. When we engage in physical activity, our brains release chemicals called endorphins. These are often referred to as feel-good chemicals because they help to reduce stress and improve our mood. This is why many people find that a quick walk or a gym session can help them clear their minds after a difficult day at work. Furthermore, sport teaches us how to handle failure. In every game, there is a winner and a loser. Learning how to lose with grace and how to win with humility are vital life skills that extend far beyond the playing field. It builds resilience, which is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. In the world of professional sport, we see the extreme version of these concepts. Take the Tour de France as an example. This annual bicycle race covers more than 3,000 kilometers over the course of 3 weeks. The cyclists must climb steep mountains and sprint across flat plains in all kinds of weather. This requires an almost superhuman level of cardiovascular fitness and mental toughness. However, even at this elite level, the core principles are the same as those for a beginner: movement, fuel, and recovery. The difference lies in the intensity and the specialized equipment used to measure every single heartbeat and pedal stroke. As technology advances, the way we exercise is changing. Today, many people use wearable devices like smartwatches to track their steps, heart rate, and sleep patterns. These tools provide us with data that helps us understand our bodies better. We can see exactly how many calories we burn during a hike, or how our resting heart rate improves over months of training. This data-driven approach to fitness has made exercise more accessible and measurable for the average person. We no longer have to guess if we are getting healthier. We can see the evidence on our screens, which provides a powerful form of motivation. Ultimately, the most important thing to remember about sport and exercise is that they should be sustainable. It does not matter if you are training for a professional championship or just trying to stay active in your 60s. The best activity is the one you can do consistently. Some people find their passion in the heavy weights of a powerlifting gym, while others find it in the rhythmic movements of a dance class or the strategic depth of a tennis match. By understanding the science of how our bodies move and the history of why we play, we can find the right balance that works for our own lives. Whether you are aiming for a new personal best or just looking to improve your health, the world of physical activity offers something for everyone. It is a lifelong journey of discovering what your body is truly capable of achieving. And that's all for today's episode of EnglishPass Podcast. I hope you found this helpful. Remember to practice what you've learned, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we improve. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and join us next time. Let me remind you that the sponsor of the episode is TypeFit, and I suggest to check the link at the description. I'm Sophia, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Goodbye.